Hello to all of you, and thank you very much for coming and joining us. Shanika, as always, it's wonderful to have you, and you've always been the kingpin and the mastermind leader behind the Wealth Weekend, and this was your idea, just for the record. So thank you very much for it. I know that you were getting lots of people asking you all the same question, and you were like, Scott, can't we just have a Q&A and answer everyone all in one place? So we are recording.
Exactly.
I know a couple of people haven't been able to join us, but yeah, thank you very much, Shanika. Do you want to just kind of give us a little bit of context as to what you want to achieve from this session?
Sure thing. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all online and to see some faces and names that I haven't seen in a while. Yeah, this is exciting. I'm hoping that this session will be interactive. If you've got some questions already on your mind, you can pop it into the comment section and I'll make sure that Scott answers them. Everyone that has sent me messages previously, I've posted it in a Google form in a Google sheet that Scott has access to. So he'll go through that. And yeah, I'm just hoping for an interactive session to speak about the Wealth Weekend and then the personal growth experience that is happening after the Wealth Weekend in March.
Awesome. So my recommendation is that let me do a quick run through. We've also got David as a guest to be able to kind of give an update. So what I suggest we do, let me give a quick run through. Then I will go with David as well. And then we can come back to kind of Q&A, because things like where do I fly to and whatever we can kind of handle at the end in terms of that process. Okay. Would you mind letting people in, Shanika? So I'll rock and roll. I've got some PowerPoint slides and then
Scott, can you just make me co-host? Then I can
okay.
let people in. Thanks.
Okay, there are you co-host now.
Perfect.
Okay, let's rock and roll. So for me, this is probably the single most important thing that we do in the whole year with regards to our mastermind. And what I wanted to do is just take you through some slides. So for me, we basically, the whole purpose of the mastermind is our focus is to create globally diversified passive income and portfolio growth. How do we do that? We diversify across countries, currencies, assets, partners, and time. And it's all about building this passive income. And then whenever you've got a hairy, audacious goal, you break it down. So we've got a big overall goal. We've got the the monthly midterm, and then we've got the tasks and activities. Now, the question I always ask you, and you know that I ask you this a lot, is this is your comfort zone. And whether we're talking the Wealth Weekend or the personal growth experience, this is where the magic happens. And my wish for you in 2026 is that let's go to where the magic happens. So let's get you out of your comfort zone and let's go to where the magic happens. And I'm going to share with you why we're putting the two together. This is the overall 9-step process. Everyone hopefully is familiar with this now. What is the Wealth Weekend all about? Well, we start off with the investor profile. So this is where we go through the Enneagram and Wealth, or better known now as the Wealth EQ. We spend the best part of nearly a day just on that alone, so that you truly understand who you are, how it works, why you make the decisions that you make, et cetera, in terms of your Wealth EQ. The second thing is portfolio optimization. So this is where Anthony and Garth take you through the triangle and why it is so important and how do you optimize your portfolio. So remember, it starts with the Wealth EQ, and then the next part is ultimately about your portfolio optimization. And then finally, it comes into your AIM, your asset income model. So they go through that in detail. I tend to say it's 3 legs to a table. You need all 3 of them to make the table solid. We then go into the community partners. So this is where there's a huge amount of knowledge transfer. By the way, no one weekend is the same as another weekend, because you might notice that there's very few presentations and a lot more Q&A, dialogue, facilitated workshops. And then also where I, with Garth and Anthony specifically, do a lot of panels. So that's where I have a whole bunch of questions collaborated. Then obviously the people in the room can ask whatever they want. So it's not about presentations, it's about collaboration. But ultimately, it's the best way that I've learned to learn from Garth and Anthony, because it's literally what's current, what's relevant in terms of whether people are live. Obviously, the people live have a far better experience because they're in the room, etc. But then equally in the evenings, you got to have a beer, a glass of wine, coffee, whatever it is, and get to meet other people, like-minded people. So it's all about the community. And then one of the things that we talk about all the time is what are the current deals, what are the pipelines, where do we see stuff coming down the line? So you'll actually notice that the Wealth Weekend covers 4 of the 9 steps in terms of this process. Now, I wanted to share with you, just again as a bit of a framework, as a reminder, what is the Wealth 5.0 blueprint? Well, everyone's out there wanting to get wealth freedom, and legacy. One of those things. Generally, it's one of those three things. How does it start? Well, it starts with a solid foundation. You need the belief and you need the knowledge. Once you got the belief and the knowledge, you then need a plan. You need access and you need a system. Okay, so they're the three fundamental pillars. Once you got that, you need accountability to be able to implement the system. And finally, you need trust. So there's 7 different components to the framework. Now, if I just jump through this very quickly, how do we work on belief? Well, the very first step of belief is that this is where we help people get on the platform, start investing, sign up, complete your profile, fund, invest, and ultimately get your first payday. It's all about building the belief in terms of that process. The next step is the knowledge. And this is where you got Wealth Going Global. It's the 6-module home study course where you literally learn about, what countries to invest in, what are the different currencies, what are the top 15 assets, how do you find the right partners, how do you build a plan over time? And then there's a bonus module of smart investing. Then it's about the plan. And this is exactly what we were talking about. So we've got the investor roadmap workshop in terms of for everyone, but for the mastermind members, this is where you go through your portfolio optimization. This is the triangle I was talking about. So it starts with your wealth EQ, which is why we spend the best part of nearly an entire day at the Wealth Weekend on this. Then it goes to your portfolio construction. How do you actually do it? And Anthony takes you through with Garth exactly the details and the nuances of portfolio construction. And then the life asset income model, and it's bringing it together. So these are the 3 legs of the table that we spend the vast majority of the 2.5 days actually going through each one of these core components, because this is really the essence of what the Wealth Weekend is all about. And, this is what your asset income model looks like at the end, et cetera, et cetera. Then we go to access. Obviously, what we've got with regards to our platform, both at Wealth Migrate and at Private Wealth Global, people have got access to the deals. Garth's talking a lot about private equity at the moment. Just by the way, I saw an amazing thing with Tony Robbins and just yesterday, and Alex Hormozy. The average for the last 37 years for the S&P 500 has been 9%. So 9% return for the last 37 years. Do you know that private equity has managed to return in the region of 15.6%? I'm going to do an entire article on this, but Garth is very, very pro alternative assets and specifically private equity. So we're going to be talking about a number of different private equity deals that are coming. Then we got the system. How does the whole thing work in terms of the system, and all about smart investing and using the technology and the platform in terms of where we're at. Finally, you've got accountability. You should all know, as part of the mastermind, the accountability and the coaching, and that's what the mastermind's all about on a monthly basis, whether you do it in the group coaching or whether you do it one-to-one with me, but that's ultimately what the accountability is about. And then finally, it comes to trust. And I fundamentally believe that nothing is ever going to happen unless you have trust. You need to trust yourself. You need to trust your partners. You need to trust your plan. And that is what the Wealth Weekend has literally been designed for, to build trust. So I've been doing Wealth Weekends since 2013. So 2013, I think I stand to be corrected, 2013 or 2014 was our very first Wealth Weekend. So we've been doing them now for over a decade. And with the mastermind, we started them again in March of 2024. So we stopped them over the COVID period, but we started doing them again. So this was the first one that we did in Stellenbosch back in March last year. 2 years ago now. This was the one that we did at the Cradle of Humankind. You can always see that there's always learning and fun. We went to go watch the Springboks beat the All Blacks. There were 32 of us, which was just incredible. Then we settled on Knysna back in March last year. It's where I live. It's where Shanika lives. It's the #1 holiday town in South Africa. And it's a very affordable place to do it at. And it's it's just the most spectacular scenery. It's very relaxed. You're not in a big city. So it's just proven to be the most spectacular place. And the venue we use is amazing as well. So these are just pictures. You can see there the pictures of going on the boat. So we always have a combination of learning and having fun. You can see the viewpoints. You can see the scenery, walking on the beach. The venue is an amazing venue to be able to host stuff at. And I think the pictures kind of speak to it. And then again, we did it in September this year, and different group of people, different experiences. But we've actually settled on doing it in Knysna. It's easy for Garth and Karen and Bianca to get to. It's only 3.5 hours from where they live, which basically dramatically reduces the costs. We're trying to make this as affordable as possible for everyone, so that we don't try and make a profit out of this event, but we just don't want to lose money. When we did it in Johannesburg, over £1 million in terms of the process. And because it was just so expensive, you're paying these fancy hotels with fancy food and everything, and it just didn't make any sense. Because the real thing that we're trying to do here is come and get the experience, learn, meet people, have a great experience, but there's no point in paying silly money on accommodation in terms of the process. So we're doing it again in Nyasna because it's just worked so well for us. In terms of the one coming up, well, it's March. These pictures, by the way, were taken off my boat. So these are real things. You literally see them in the sea. It's the most spectacular experience. And why do you actually come to Wealth Weekend? Well, it's immersion with the family office and the global investment experts. So Garth and Karen and Anthony literally arrive at lunchtime on Wednesday, and they're here till Friday evening in terms of the process. So it's complete immersion. It's next level learning and strategy. It's peer-to-peer mastermind. So you're with like-minded people. It's an incredible group of people to be able to work with, ask questions, etc. And great friendships are actually built through the process. You've got global perspectives, no matter where you come from in the world. You've got global perspectives and you've got the local advantage. Again, what I like about Garth specifically when it comes to tax and structuring is he's not stuck in one country. He's not English, he's not South African, he's not American, because they are global, and with a family office, they've got a global perspective. Emotional and psychological wealth mastery. So this is the whole Enneagram and wealth, or what they call the wealth EQ, because what's so important is that it's not just about investing in deals, it's the psychology of wealth. And we spend a lot of time around the emotional and psychology part. Tangible outcomes, you literally walk away with physical plans and tangible outcomes. That's why on Friday afternoon, we don't rush. We actually spend a lot of time. I facilitate the process. So then Friday afternoon, you walk away with action plans, basically. And then exclusive, again, we don't make this publicly available. People have either joined the Wealth Accelerator or the Mastermind. Mastermind members always get first option, and then the Wealth Accelerator next. And if the general community, if there's space, and it is by invite only, so everyone has to be interviewed first, because we only want like-minded people in the room. And then finally, where luxury meets legacy, well, that's why we go on the boat. I've got a special surprise every year. I invite you to my house. It's a very South African thing, but come to my house and we have a special dinner at my house. There's live music that we go to one night. So it's a mixture of working hard and learning and really expanding your mind and having a lot of fun in the process. But in simple terms, there's one word and one word only: trust. It's to build trust in yourself, build trust in your partners, build trust in your plan. And I don't care how much Zoom we do or online stuff, there's nothing more powerful than human connection, shaking people's hands, looking in the eye, spending some quality social time with them, etc., etc. And that's how it all comes together. So that's why the trust component, and ultimately it leaves you with your wealth, your freedom, and your legacy in terms of that process. Now, just in terms of the dates, there's 2 dates already. In terms of March, it's the 18th to the 22nd of October. And in October, and please remind me quickly, Shanika, or do I need to go and find it? The exact dates in October. I don't have my diary with me. Do you have it on you?
I'll confirm it now.
Okay.
I'll tell you in 2
I know. I think it's the 14th, the 18th of October, but I just want to clarify and make sure I got that right.
And what's the date in March?
18th to the 22nd of October. So it's Wednesday. So the way it works...
In March, 18th to the 22nd.
Of March, sorry, of March. Sorry, I'm being silly, Alan.
So it's the 18th to the 22nd March.
March, yeah.
Okay.
So,
And in October, it's the 14th to the 18th.
Okay, I got it right. 14th to the 18th. Okay, so we've got a website here, and I'm going to post this website in the chat room for everyone. You can go watch a video that I made here. You've got the details. You can secure your spot here. You can chat directly to Shanika. If you click on this, it literally takes you directly to being able to chat to her on WhatsApp. But why this is important is that if you want to go and just understand what the weekend is all about, you can literally go and read all about it. So I've just explained to you all of these key points. And then if you want to secure your spot, it literally explains it. We've got the price. I'll talk more to that now. There is a rand price and obviously a dollar price. The dollar has got quite a lot weaker against the rand, and the costs continue to go up. So again, we're not trying to make a profit out of this, but obviously we've got to cover the costs. What we learned is that a bunch of people don't always want to stay at the venue. They might have friends, They might want to stay somewhere else. It doesn't matter. Like, you can stay at the venue, you can stay elsewhere. So what we do is, what's included is, it's, you know, in terms of the price to be there, that includes your lunch, all of the venue costs, all the function and everything else, but it doesn't include your accommodation, it doesn't include your flights, and it doesn't include your dinners. So it's just something to, because what we learned from the one where we lost a lot of money in 2024 was we tried to make everything inclusive, and then some people were halal and the vegans and this and that, and honestly, we're not an events management company. It was just too complicated. So we keep it really simple now, and lunch is included. And if people want to stay at the venue, they can. If they want to stay somewhere else, they can. But we keep it really, really simple in terms of the process. The one thing you'll see here is there's a price per person, and then there's obviously a discounted price if people are coming as a couple because they're sharing it. It's, you know, there's not extra costs in terms of that process. Then the next thing that I think is important is that if you go here, you'll see day one is about setting the tone. So what happens there, that's a Wednesday. Everyone gets in sort of by 2 o'clock. We specifically did it so that people can travel. So if you're flying internationally, you can land, you can get there on time so that you don't lose another day. We only start the work session at 4 o'clock. We have about a 3-hour work session, 2.5, 3 hours. And then we've got a really special surprise. We keep it as a surprise, but it'll blow your mind. So we do that, and then we all go for dinner together. Then on the Thursday and the Friday, we've got a full work session, obviously breakfast in the morning, and then we kind of got maybe 9 to 5. And then at about 5 o'clock, we always go off and we do something fun. So both on Thursday evening and Friday evening, we do something fun. And then we've got dinner. And as I say, on Friday night, we actually go to a local place here. It's my favorite place in town where there's live music and it's a huge amount of fun. And then on Saturday, there's the option to go for a beach walk, it's one of the most spectacular beaches in the country. And then in the afternoon, we go on the catamarans. And then after the catamarans, you actually come back to my house. So I entertain you at my house Saturday evening, and then everyone goes home on Sunday. If you look here, you can see day 2 is a deep dive into the wealth strategies. You can go read the agenda in terms of the whole process, and then day 3 in terms of so half of Wednesday, Wednesday late afternoon and evening, and then Thursday and Friday are the work days, and then Saturday is the fun, obviously every evening, but also Saturday. And then that's the fun experience in terms of it. So I think it's pretty much got everything here that you can go and read. It's got the venue, the location, everything that you would like to. If you want to go and see the benefits that everyone else has got, you can go watch the videos, and you can pretty much, there's both loads of videos plus written ones. I will tell you one thing, and you've heard me say this 1,000 times. The people that attend the Wealth Weekend, in terms of our mastermind, there's about 150 families. It's chalk and cheese, the difference between those that have been at the Wealth Weekend and specifically live and those that haven't. It's literally chalk and cheese in terms of that process. So anyway, so everything's there. You can go read all about it. Shanika, if you can just drop it in the chat room, I'd appreciate it. In terms of where, you have done it already. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And for those of you watching the recording and you don't have it, it's wealthgoingglobal.com/wealth weekend. So that's the link, wealthgoingglobal.com/wealth weekend. And at any point, if you want to do it, you can literally sign up here. And all this is going to do is put you directly in contact with Shanika, and Shanika will be able to assist you with onboarding, basically, in terms of that process. Okay. Hopefully that's fairly self-explanatory. I'll come back now to answer any questions if anyone's got any questions. But I did want to pivot to the second part of this, which is really important. So I've been on a personal journey for a long time. So I've been doing personal growth, personal development now. I think this is my 30th year, to be honest. And I've done everything from Tony Robbins to Richard Branson to Roger Hamilton, like you literally name it, Dr. G. D. Martini, et cetera, et cetera. I've done it all over the world. And about 3 years ago, I actually don't know if it was 3 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, I was introduced to David. I'd done a whole bunch of journeys in different parts of the world. And I was going through a period where I'm turning 49 in 2 weeks' time. And I'd gone through a horrible breakup. I'd gone through a horrible divorce, then a horrible breakup. And what I realized, my patterns kept repeating themselves. And so I started on this journey with David back in 2024. And every month for a month, once a month, every month for nearly, I think I did it 10 or 11 times in the year. I would go to David's retreat. I would do a one-to-one session, and I would go through a mixture of different combinations. We're going to talk a little bit about that now, but mainly it's mushrooms, okay, in terms of the process. And what that did for me was the most incredible transformation. It literally helped me deal with a lot of my childhood trauma. We've all got trauma, just for the record. I don't care how good you think your childhood upbringing was. We've all got trauma. It really helped me to reset in terms of the process. Now, I obviously, with the fact that we're in investing and money and wealth, I'm just going to stop sharing so you can see me properly. You know, I didn't really talk about it too much, you know, and then you kind of got these stories of Steve Jobs and the stuff that he used to do and whatever. And I started to think, well, not only is it becoming more mainstream, but more and more people that I'm coaching, and specifically in the one-to-one arena, are sort of saying to me, well, Scott, how does that actually work? And I know that in September, David and I tried to organize for one of the ladies that was keen to do it, but then he was away. David was actually away at the time of our wealth weekend. So I reached out to him I think, David, you'd stand to be corrected here, but like at the end of last year, and I said, hey, look, we're doing the wealth weekend. Is there any chance that we could top and tail it, where we end up doing 2 days with David at his retreat for those that are interested? Now, some of you might say, well, Scott, this has got nothing to do with finance, got nothing to do with wealth, nothing to do with investing. Fine, then go home on Sunday. No problem. But for those of you that truly want to take your life to the next level, and for me, wealth is not about money. It's about everything that you got once you've lost all your money. So this is about who you are. It's about the human being that you are. And so David and I literally said, well, let's give it a test. You know, he does this all the time. People come from all over the world to come to his retreat. And we wanted to give our community the option. So some of you might think Scott has literally lost his mind. Some of you will think that I've gone to woo-woo land. I actually don't care anymore. Like, if you've watched any of my videos, I've consistently said that David has been the person, after 25 years of psychology, he helped me more in 1 year than 25 years worth of psychology. So David, without further ado, I firstly want to welcome you and say thank you for being here. I know this is not necessarily what you normally do in terms of running webinars and talking to people and everything in between. But I'd love to just kind of get a sense of two things. One is, if you could kind of just tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey and kind of how you help people, because I think it's so important to, the thing I love most about you is you make me feel safe, which allows me to kind of let go and do my healing. And you've got a special energy about you, and your retreat has a special energy about it, but the combination works wonders.
Yeah, thanks, Scotty. Yeah, nice to meet you all. Geez, where do I start? So we've got a beautiful little venue about 20 kilometers outside Knysna, up on top of a hill, lost in the forest. Yeah, I've been involved with working with people for over 15 years. And it's just my passion, and it's my calling. I love working with people. And the essence of the work that I do with people is to help you find the truth of who you actually are. Not who you think you are, but to drop down below your sort of social conditioning, and tap into the core of your truth. And there's a lot of modalities I use. I use a lot of plant medicines, as Scotty said, mushrooms, psilocybin, mescaline, and then some natural processes like breath work, and then just conversation and connection, and just being, just creating and growing a community of human beings, because there's actually nothing more powerful for healing a human being than fellowship with another human being. And it actually just comes down to that. So you can have all the fancy tools and, take all the mushrooms and do everything as well. But on top of that, you just need to be, one human being sitting next to another human being. I think is there anything that I missed there, Scotty?
No, well, I think that's such an important point, because one of the things that I, for myself, speak as well. You know, I lived here for a very long time, and as I said, I've been through quite a bit of the trauma. And one of the things that you do so successfully is create these environments where people can connect and really properly have honest conversations. And what I liked about when you and I first brainstormed this was, people are going to go through a wealth weekend, which is going to be lots of fun and a lot of learning, and it's all going to be in your head. And quite frankly, it's very much a head thing. Whereas, you know, we're going to bring it together with the with the 2 days, which will be much more getting it into your heart, and actually it'll be synthesizing and bringing it all together, and obviously building incredible connection with the people that are going to come on the journey in terms of that process. There's no kind of formal agenda in terms of how it's going to work. So in simple terms, what will happen is on the Sunday, so Sunday the 22nd, when everyone like sort of has brunch and goes home, that doesn't want to come, they'll go home. Then we'll organize a bus, and the people that are coming will come with me in the bus, and we'll drive to David. He's only about 20 to 25 minutes from where I live in Knysna. He's the next town down. And I want to share some pictures just so you can actually visually see where it is. But it's this beautiful retreat, literally in the forest, in the middle of nowhere, like up on the top of the hill in the middle of the forest. And then we'll be there, Sunday afternoon. I don't know, David, we'll probably get going like 2-3 o'clock in Sunday afternoon. Yep. And we'll do a journey on both Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening. And then Monday morning, we might have some options. We'll play around. There's lots of things we can do. Yeah. But we'll start again probably around lunchtime again on Monday. We'll have another sort of Monday afternoon, Monday evening, and then on Tuesday, people can have breakfast and then kind of hit the road. And one of the questions someone did ask, which I'll answer now quickly, is we'll aim to wrap up probably 10 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday morning, which will allow people to get to the airport if they need to fly. I would say the earliest flight anyone should fly on the Tuesday would be 1 p.m. because that'll give you time to get to the airport and everything in between. But effectively, ostensibly, we've got 4 days at the Wealth Weekend, and we've got 2 days in terms of the personal growth and self-exploration. 6 days in total. Put a bit of travel on, and you've got a week.
Yeah. Scott, can I just add something that I feel is pretty important? Is that whatever we put together at the 2 days at my place is no one's actually forced to do anything. So everyone can talk to me directly. If we're doing mushrooms, say, and you've never done it before and you're really anxious or nervous, but you're keen to try, chat to me. We can sort out a much lower dose. Or so if there's anything you're concerned about or any fears, feel free to contact me and chat to me directly.
Perfect. Yeah, and I'll connect you. I'll connect you guys. I mean, just to show you some pictures. So this is a very African thing, but this is called a sweat lodge, by the way. They do this in South America and in North America. So we haven't decided yet if we're going to do this. This might be an additional thing that we've been thinking about. But I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of kind of what to expect. The dining areas. I don't know, David, if you want to talk to these or if I just bounce through them. So just in terms of, this is the sort of one of the areas where the kitchen is. In terms of what we're looking at. This is there's outside toilets and showers, and in terms of where you're at. So it's very much living in the land, on the environment, again, where we have the meals, etc. This is actually in a place called Surrender. So where we actually, I'll show you more pictures of it. I send you the picture which I resonate with so much, which is that the treasure you seek lies in the cave you fear. The treasure you seek lies in the cave you fear. So I know Scott Picken, for 45 years, ran away from the cave. I was too scared. I used numbing, alcohol, comfort food, whatever you want to. And only with David was I finally brave enough to go into the cave and find the treasure. And it's literally.
What was the treasure you found, Scotty?
Well, I think for me, it's a deep sense of happiness. So by dealing with the trauma and some of the challenges that I had in the past, I'm a lot less anxious, a lot more in touch with who I am, my own self-confidence. It's had a
huge impact.
It's had a huge impact on my personal life, but also my business life. I'll give you a good example. I've never been a business owner for 21 years. I've never once fired anyone or retrenched anyone. Not a single person. Like if you came to our company, you might as well have been in communism. Whereas in the last year or so, I asked half the teams leave. So that's actually having self-respect, accountability. I'm sure Shanika will agree that we had some bad apples that I just let stay there and just kept causing shit. And so it's those type of things, David, where I just learned to my own self-worth and I can go
and boundaries.
And boundaries. Everyone's got their own stuff, but it just, I can't explain to you. And you did say it in the one video. It's very hard to verbalize. It's if anyone trusts me, and I know this is a big statement, but if anyone trusts me, come and just try it. It's virtually impossible to put it into English. I don't know how to say it any other way in terms of the process. I just want to keep going through some of these pictures just so you can see it. So that's the picture looking out over the forest. By the way, this is a fire that we all sit around. That's a jacuzzi. So just imagine sitting under the African star. I mean, March is like literally February, March are the best 2 months of the entire year to come to this part of the world. You know, you're going to be sitting under the stars. You're sitting in a jacuzzi if you want to be in a jacuzzi, and you've literally got Africa. You can't see another human. It's unbelievable. If I keep going, this is actually within Surrender. So this is where in the evening, you know, you've got the fire, and people can either stay in their own accommodation or they can stay here. You know, this is where we do all of our journeys. And I was literally there on Saturday night with David with a group of people. I did a journey on my own on Monday evening. I've been going through some quite a lot of personal stuff, and David was just the most incredible evening. And I mean, I'm sure Shanika can testify how much I've changed just in a week from being there last. So anyway, it just gives you an idea of the venue at night. That's the fire looking out again towards the forest. This is just down in the valleys with the rivers and the ponds, and you know, it's one of the things that's amazing is you can go in the forest. I go mountain biking there with David all the time. Again, sitting around fires, human connection, talking, etc. This is just the night sky, and I think you get the point. Again, just pictures of the bush and where you're at. This is during the day in the Surrender venue. This is the accommodation. David, maybe you want to talk to it. There's two types of accommodation. There's tented camps, and there's also
we've got 10 sort of what you call luxury tents like that have got 2 single beds in. 2 of them have got queen size beds in. And then we've got cabins as well with like different options, 2 single beds, double beds. And we also got rooms we got other rooms with ensuite bathrooms. So there's pretty much different accommodation options to sort of cater for different requirements. So
don't worry,
but it's not excessively fancy, but it's pretty solid.
You don't have to worry if you're a bit nervous coming to Africa and sleeping in a tent. We do actually have rooms. But anyway, this just gives you an idea of the different types of accommodation, etc. And again, I love this picture, just, you know, out over the forest and the hills and the mountains and everything in between. Okay, I think there's just a couple of pictures to jump through so people can get a view on it. Sure, we've got lots of pictures here.
A lot of pictures, man.
Yeah, so there's the overall kind of the breakdown. So sorry, I got it the wrong way around. Surrender's the small one that I go to, and the cave is the bigger one, where we do the joint sessions. You can see the tents here. This is actually up at David's house. Here, there's more sort of camps, etc. But I think you get the kind of the point in terms of the overall process. Ooh, what just happened there? Sorry, I don't know how I went backwards there. Just give me 2 seconds. I think that's everything. So I'm going to stop sharing now. The last thing I just wanted to share with you, which I think is very important, is that I can send you 2 or 3 videos that I've made over the last year or two, just, you know, honestly, just celebrating David. And sorry, David, it's weird to say this with you here, but one of the things that I really value in life is when I meet a true master of their craft. Like, very seldom in life do you meet someone that is literally put on this planet to do what they do. You can go and watch testimonials I've made in the past. There's nothing. There's no benefit to me in terms of whether David has more clients. Although I did joke with David, let's put what you do on the global stage, as long as you remember us small people, and I still get invited. But on a serious note, this was a testimonial that someone sent David, and I just want to read it to you. Over time, Dave has become far more than a facilitator. So he's been, what have you been coaching this person for 2 years, I think. He's a mentor, a teacher, a guide, and a friend. Often I travel 5-hour road trips simply to be on the land. I've found sometimes a 5-minute conversation with Dave in all the medicine I need. His wisdom is profound, his presence is grounding, and in ceremony, I hold him with the highest regard. Dave himself is a safe space. By the way, that is so important. I've done these ceremonies literally all over the place, and I never, ever let go because I never felt safe. And David was the first person to truly make me feel safe and for me to be able to let go. Let's have tea with, I presume that's God, and see where it goes. He often chuckles, a line that captures both humor and transformative depth of his journeys. His work is nothing short of an experience with the divine, all the while sharing mind-blowing insight with a side serving of superbly timed sarcasm. Dave will walk you to the edges of yourself, and you will choose to jump into the abyss because you are completely held with absolutely zero judgment by a man who allows you to simply be, and however that is, it's okay. I have deeply healed through Dave's guidance. The land itself holds its own frequency. I could swear it's plugged directly into the great mystery. Okay, now Dave's art. Okay, so Dave's also an artist. You can see all the art in the room there. Sitting in the surrender room, surrounded by his creations, you literally feel yourself shift. It's almost if the process begins the minute you walk through the door. His art is beyond anything you've seen before or will ever see again. During a journey, his art has its own pathway of guidance to literally an extraordinary uniqueness. I'll end off with two things I'll always say about Dave. First, 5 minutes before I die, I'm calling him. He would know just exactly what to say. And second, I believe that every human, at least once in their lifetime, should journey with this man.
Sure.
So yeah, I think it's probably fairly self-explanatory. The last thing that I just wanted to share with you, which I put together on a slide, and then if there's any questions or anything, then we can bounce to the questions. Was I tried to, so with Shanika and Dave, I tried to kind of just build a table for you. So you'll see here that for the Wealth Weekend, there's two ways to pay. One is in rands or one is in dollars. I mean, we can do pounds as well, but it's whatever the current exchange rate is. But we basically, there's a price for someone on their own, and then there's a price for a couple sharing, and you can see what that is. And then for the personal growth and exploration, which is the second part with Dave, there's a price for a single, and then again there's a cheaper price if you're together as a couple. So you can see there that if you add the two together, you've got the rand amount, 19,497, and then 27,997 for two, and again you've got the dollar amount. So again, this is on the website, the landing page, whatever you want to call it, but I thought I'd just make it really easy. In simple terms, if you just want to do the Wealth Weekend, no problem. And if you want to do both, then obviously it would be the joint. I don't know if anyone wants to just do the personal growth. I don't see any reason why you couldn't do that. But yeah, you'll just have to let Shanika know in terms of that process. My final comment before I go to questions is that I never ever thought I'd be having this conversation with our mastermind group and with what we're doing. But actually, I truly believe that to create extraordinary in 2026 and beyond, if we can marry together both of them, the energy of money, investing, wealth, and with the self-exploration, healing, personal growth, etc., that's where I think we can make magic. And so, yeah, that's my take on it. It's a bit risque from David and I to put it out there, but why not? So many people have asked me, Scott, you've had this massive transformation in the last 2 years. How can I do it? And I was like, well, why not share the gifts that I've learned from around the world? So yeah, I don't know, David, if there's anything I've missed, or Shanika, if there's anything that you think I've missed.
Yeah, we have a bunch of questions that have come through in the chat box that I'm happy to read out relating to the retreat.
Do you want to start
Those who would like
do you want to start with your Word docs first, or how do you want to do it, Shanika?
Yeah, so I mean, if anyone has specific questions for Dave that they would like to say directly to him, then go for it. You can just come off mute. Else, I do have everyone's questions written down that I can also just read off.
Maybe a good idea is to just start by reading some of the questions, because when people are asking questions, a lot of other people have the same questions.
Okay, so the first one is, do I need to bring anything specific to attend the retreat?
Costume for the jacuzzi, if you feel that we're inclined. No, not really. We will obviously put out some information leading up to it about requirements, if there are any, but nothing specific comes to mind currently.
But I think if I can give that a go as well. So what we're going to do, and we're trying to make it easy, so it's going to be all-inclusive kind of food and drink and your accommodation. So you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. What you do need to do, in March, the weather can start turning, so you want warm clothes and you want summer clothes. So at that time of the year, we can have a bloody freezing day and we can have a beautiful, hot, sunny day. So you want both. You want clothes that if you want to go walking in the forest, you can go walking in the forest. Obviously swimming if you want to join me, because I will be in the jacuzzi. I love jacuzzis, if you don't know that. And I don't really think there's anything else. There's nothing pretentious. There's no massive dress up. There's nothing like, it's actually just be comfortable. But do please hear me. And that's obviously for the Wealth Weekend as well. Bring warm clothes and nice hot summer clothes, because it could be either. Or it probably will be both in the time of year.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then is there any preparation required for the shroom journey? Yeah.
Yeah, the main preparation is on the day itself, is to try and avoid any dairy and don't eat any meat on the Sunday if you can. Yeah, but I think we will put out a set sort of guideline for the journey and what people should and shouldn't do. Because some people might have experience and some people might be coming in with zero experience. So I can put together something that'll give people all the information they need.
Just to give a
Perfect.
bit more peace of mind, David, which I think is important. Psychologists now from around South Africa are sending their, what do you call them, customers, clients, patients to David. So he's got doctors, he's got psychologists, he's got psychiatrists. You've got people coming from all over the world. Just this last weekend, there were a bunch of people from Sweden, I think you said, Sweden or Norway.
Denmark.
That like people are flying in from all over the world now. Like this is a real gift that we're giving people. You know what I mean? And in terms of qualifications and understanding what he's doing, like the doctors wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't working.
Yeah.
Another question is, will Dave's self-development journey also be available in October?
So I'd like to say yes. Obviously we're testing something, but certainly my wish would be that just like the Wealth Weekend, we're doing it twice a year, we would always finish with this, because I think the combination is going to be incredibly powerful. I really do.
And David, how often do you run these retreats?
Well, this retreat's going to be pretty sort of unique, but I actually do journeys like this probably 3 or 4 times a week. So 3 or 4 nights a week. This is my sort of livelihood, and I've been doing it full time for about 5-6 years. And I've been involved in psychedelics and medicine and stuff like that for about 15 years now. So yeah, it's pretty regular.
But I think, Shanika, there's something that's important here. It is different to be with a group of people you already know, you've just spent the Wealth Weekend with them, etc., versus kind of turning up and you don't really know the group. There'll be a specific energy to our group. I don't want to be rude, Dave, but sometimes people can be quite woo-woo and dance around like fairies and stuff. We will be different. We'll bring that capitalistic component to it as well. I don't know. There'll be a lot of value in coming within our.
Maybe 1 or 2 of your group actually want to dance around like fairies, and you're going to make them feel judged. Huh?
I'm going to be very careful with what I say here, but anyway.
Yeah, Scott, this is a safe space. Next question is, can this help for relationship healing?
It's probably one of the best things you will ever do for a relationship. That's actually one of my specialities, is working with people and their relationships. It's profound. You'll get more out of one journey than you will out of 10 years of psychotherapy. Because it's essentially finding out your truth. And relationships are, a lot of people dance around in the shallow end and they don't actually tell each other the truth. And these journeys encourage total authenticity and actual honest communication between them. And it's the best thing ever for a relationship.
Beautiful. All right. Does anyone have any other questions for David or for Scott regarding the retreat?
So just to be clear, in terms of logistics, what we'll do is we'll make sure that from Knysna we get transport to David's place, and then we will organize transport from there to the airport afterwards. So people don't need to worry about that from that. I know there's questions that we got logistics for the Wealth Weekend that we're going to come to, but we'll take care of that and getting people sorted for that. Okay, if there's no more questions, then what I suggest we do, David, I'll be very welcome to stay, but we'll pivot to answer just some of the logistics, which airport to come to, that sort of stuff. I would finish with one final comment for you, David, and I think my wish, very similar to what that lady said in the testimonial, my wish for every single person that's important to me in my life, if I could get them to experience even just one journey with you, I think they will truly understand why I talk, why I shout from every rooftop, every mountain, because of the impact I know it can have. And is it scary? Yes, it is. Is it different? Yes. Is it out of your comfort zone? Yes. But that's why I started with that slide. Do you want to stay in your comfort zone, or do you want to go to where the magic is? And I've learned that that's where living life truly is where the magic is. So yeah, but thank you for being here, David. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to doing this with you.
Amazing. Fortunate. Thanks, guys.
Yes, Alan.
Scott, just thinking ahead, this 10-day issue, no water down there, it wouldn't affect Knysna, would it?
Yeah, so we've got, well, firstly, David's off-grid, so there's no issue there in terms of electricity or water or anything. And equally, where we're going to, everyone's, I mean, I'm off-grid here with water. Most people are sorted in terms of that, so I wouldn't worry about that.
Now, I'm just worried about the hotel, that it's a beautiful hotel, that. Then that wouldn't be an issue, correct?
No, we'll make sure that there's backup plans. But
I just thought it would be good just to check it out so that you organise.
we go water free for 7 days.
Bring your own tanker.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, Shanika, should we pivot to the other questions? I don't know.
Yeah.
You put them all in the WhatsApp, in the Google Sheet, huh?
Yes, that's right. Do you want me to read them off, or are you just going to fly through them?
Well, let me just, okay. So what is the price of the Wild Weekend and the personal growth experience? I'll just share my screen again. So we've literally just taken, so you got the rand amount, which is what the team's put together in terms of the actual cost to run it. And then we just took.
Sorry, Scott. We aren't seeing the right screen. We're seeing back end of it.
Yes, I've got to sort this out. Anyway, so you've got the rand amount, and then we literally just took today's exchange rate and did a calculation, and then the same thing with the rand amount and the calculation if people want to do either. Shanika, do you want to just talk quickly to those that are keen? We did. I know last time people wanted to be able to pay on credit card. We are just getting someone to fix the links so that we can update the links in the meantime. But what is easier probably if people just want to do an EFT in South Africa and or to our Wise account in England, we can take dollar, pounds, whatever. But Shanika will help you with that if people.
Yeah. Anyone can just reach out to me on WhatsApp or via email. There is also the form that you can fill out on the website, and I will contact you directly with all of the information.
Perfect. What does the price of the Wealth Weekend ticket include? So again, it includes the venue. So because we have to rent the venue for 3 days, it includes a participation towards the costs of getting the different speakers there and everything else. It's the lunch. It's all the material that we deliver. It's when we've got buses and stuff that help people get around when we go to the beach or whatever. What it doesn't include is dinner. And it doesn't include accommodation. And obviously if people drink beer and wine and whatever in the evenings, and it doesn't include the boat trip on the Saturday. So that's an elective if people want to do it. Coming to my house and all of that, that's all included basically.
Yeah.
How do I book and pay? I think Shanika just answered that. What are the dates? I think we've hopefully answered that. Again, to remind you, it's the 18th to the 22nd of March. For the Wealth Weekend, and then for the personal growth, it's the 22nd to the 24th of March. Then in October, it's the 14th to the 18th of October for the Wealth Weekend, and the 18th to the 20th of October for the personal growth thing. What airports do I fly into? Okay, so the closest airport is George International, and what I would recommend if you're flying, so it's I don't know, 55 minutes from the airport to my house, and even a little bit less to get to David's because he's on the way to the airport. If you're flying internationally, you can either fly into Cape Town Airport or you can fly into Johannesburg Airport. The one is OR Tambo, which is Johannesburg Airport, or Cape Town International. I know it sounds silly, but if you're wanting to do extra stuff afterwards, then I would recommend probably flying to Cape Town, because Cape Town has been voted the top holiday destination for many, many years running worldwide in terms of the best city to travel to. But if you just want logistics, actually flying in and out of Johannesburg is actually easier. Trust me, I fly more than most people. So it makes it easier. So, and don't worry about crime or any of that stuff, because you don't leave the airport. So there's like nothing. And in Knysna, it's one of the reasons we come to this area. There's nothing. It's beautiful. It's pristine. I've never locked my door. I don't even have a key for my door. Like in terms of, so it's completely safe in this part of the world, etc. So yeah, you don't have to worry about any of that. What is the agenda, more or less? I have shown you on the webs on the landing page. But yeah, in simple terms, we get set up on Wednesday afternoon, and it's discussions around big picture diversification. Then on the Thursday, we go into panels in the morning around diversification and big picture and the whole portfolio optimization. And then I can't remember, but it's sort of around lunchtime, we pivot into the wealth EQ. And that's where Karen talks about the psychology of wealth, the resilience of wealth, how it all comes together, who you are as an individual. It's a very entertaining session where people get to realize and learn who they are. And then on Friday, we bring it all together with the stuff that Anthony's done, the stuff that Garth's done, the stuff I've done, the stuff that Karen and Bianca have done. We do more panels on Friday morning. And then on Friday afternoon, it's kind of, I've learned the hard way. If you don't give people the time to actually walk away with their tangible plans, then they don't do it. So Friday afternoon is about consolidating it all so you walk away with a physical plan. And then Saturday's fun. Boom, 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 boom. Should I hire a car at the airport? Oh, sorry. Is there an airport transfer to the hotel? I know, Shanika, we've done this in the past where we've organized with people that we trust and that we've kind of coordinated with people to try and help in terms of that process. Should I hire a car at the airport? Honestly, like I know Paula, you and I had a conversation. So where Paula's looking to come for 2 weeks, she might, and her husband's coming, but he's not coming to the event, then I probably would hire a car because then you've got flexibility and you can get around. And if you're here before and after, you can go to the beaches and go and look at the beautiful views and sceneries. But if you're just coming in for the Wild Weekend and the personal growth, I don't think you need a car. Like get to the venue and we'll help, we'll help you out with that, God's hand. Do I need cash or credit cards? I believe it or not, we actually are first world. So pretty much everywhere it takes credit cards. Whenever I travel with a bit of cash. You never know when you might just need it, but pretty much everywhere it's no different to England or America or Australia or anywhere else for that matter. Do you help out with suggestions on hotels booking as a group? Yes. So I mean, Shanika can help you with that. We've got a whole list of people. Alan's already mentioned it. I would recommend just trying to stay at the venue, although I know that they already are pretty full. Remember, February and March is literally the most busy time of the entire year. There's plenty of accommodation, Airbnbs, there's upmarket, there's middle market, there's low. If you're like me, I don't like to waste money on accommodation. I literally need a bed, a toilet, and a shower. So, you know what I mean? Like you can do it as affordable. You can do it really affordably if you want to.
Yeah, I would suggest to people, hop on Airbnb, put the dates in Knysna, and send me the links of accommodation that you're thinking of, and I'll just tell you if it's a yay or nay, how close it is to the venue, and then we can take it from there.
Cool. Do you help out with? Okay, so I answered that one. What time is the personal growth experience in Tuesday? So yeah, that's 10 a.m. pretty much. So you'll be able to get to the airport to fly. I wouldn't make a flight before 1 o'clock, which by the way is plenty of time to fly to Johannesburg or Cape Town to get on an international flight home. We've very consciously thought this through. Do I need to change accommodation after the weekend to the retreat? So the answer is the retreat includes accommodation, so you don't have to worry about it. So on Sunday we'll all go together. We'll be at the retreat. It includes accommodation, and then on Tuesday we'll all be finished. So you don't have to worry about accommodation at the retreat.
Just to mention,
yeah,
transport from George to Knysna, you people will organise the taxi to pick you up or whatever. It was most efficient, on time to pick you up there, on time to take you back. So, because if you're one driving at the airport, what you're going to do? But you people organised that, was brilliantly done.
Thank you.
On time when you get there, when you leave, the taxi picks you up and drops you down there, or Uber or whatever you want to say. But you people organised it because it was better. Because I think they'll respond. They won't drop you; they'll drop an individual.
Yeah, well, what I know that the team tried to do, Alan, is try to coordinate where people are coming, trying to get people together.
Yeah,
so we're not a travel company, but we do try and help in terms of the process. Okay, then is an EU plug for the phone and PC okay? You will need a South African adapter. So just on that basis, if you can just, I would, buy an adapter at the airport, or worst case, let us know and we can buy you an adapter beforehand, etc. Okay, just in terms of that process. So, sorry, my son is calling me from boarding school. Okay, next question. All the prices for the funding, Saturday experience, also on the website. So I think the only thing really is just the yacht. And that costs about, what's about 1,000 Rand per person, which is about $50 per person. That's the only thing that really is I would strongly recommend coming. It is spectacular. We go out on the lagoon, we go out through the heads, we go out into the sea. It really is. It's an amazing experience in terms of that. So I'd strongly recommend. Okay, then will the sessions be live streamed like last year? Yes, that's the intention. So we will have a live streaming. However, again, I can't overemphasize the difference between being in the room, not just the physical room, because you remember you got the dinner and drinks and going and doing the experiences and whatever. It's just chalk and cheese if you actually can be there physically. Can partners not part of the Wealth Migrate Mastermind join the Wealth Weekend? Yes. So that happens all the time. So we feel very strongly in terms of people working together, teams. They sometimes think, that you might be part of a cult or something. I always say there's nothing better than bringing your husband, wife, business partner, even whatever, with you, because it really brings people together. And very often in the mastermind, we've got one person that's kind of the primary person. But actually, when you bring the partner, that's when teamwork really goes to the next level. It also means they trust the process much more. They get to know who the team is and the partners and everything in between. If we are already on the mastermind, do we still book through the website or through Shanika? Just Shanika, please. I think, Shanika, that's...
Yeah, 100%. That's easiest. Yeah.
Yeah, so again, back to the catamaran activity. It's just, I think it's 1,100. I actually don't know the exact price, but it's about 1,100, which is, call it $60. Yeah. We've already booked airline tickets in Friday, just gone, leaving Knysna on the 22nd, but may have to change the booking. I should have waited. Yeah, look, again, that's obviously if you want to come for the personal development, retreat. I can't more highly recommend the opportunity, and also to be part of the first group will be pretty special as well. If we bring our children or child, what is the cost of bringing children? I don't have a spouse partner, as he's not interested. That's a good question. I don't really know the answer to that. I like to bring, we've done Wealth Weekends now, as I said to you, since 2013, 2014. And in the past, we used to actually have a lot more children coming. So I would strongly recommend people bring their families, bring their children, let them engage and be part of it. I think if you can, just on the children thing, maybe if you can just connect with Shanika. I don't know off the top of my head, like what they'll charge. I suppose it will depend on how old the kid is and whether they eat like an adult. I mean, normally it's, most of these places, it's like after 12. After the age of 12, they kind of get treated like everyone else. And then so is the international airport Cape Town versus Joburg. How do we get to Knysna from either? So there's a flight. So you fly from Cape Town to George, or you fly from Johannesburg to George. Unless you're wanting to do a road trip and whatever, I definitely would not drive from Johannesburg to George. It's a long way. It's a very long way. And from Cape Town
like
to
14
George,
hours.
Hey?
Like 14, 15 hours,
I
would not
do
recommend.
Don't even consider it. It's not even, I wouldn't do it. Whereas I know Paula and I were talking about it, and she wants to come for 2 weeks. And, she could easily fly into, or she could drive from Cape Town, because they're going to start in Cape Town, and then drive to Knysna, because it's the garden route. It's the most beautiful part of the whole country. And then come to the, what we're doing with the Wealth Weekend, and then keep going up to Port Elizabeth, which is what a lot of people do up the garden route. And by the way, there's some fantastic game reserves up in the Port Elizabeth area. So you could do Cape Town, which is one of the top cities in the world, been voted over and over again the top city in the world to go on holiday. There's beautiful wine routes there. It's spectacular. And then you can come up the garden route. You can come and experience Knysna, that is the top holiday town in the country and has been for many, many years. And then you can go on up to P, and you can actually do a safari up there. everything from lions to elephants to you name it. In terms, and then you could fly from Port Elizabeth back to wherever you came from, Cape Town or Johannesburg, and leave your car there. So you don't have to, you know. So yeah, I can help more if that didn't make sense, but I don't know if that hopefully made sense to him. And I think that's everything in terms of the questions. Are there any I'm missing? I know it's come up a couple of times, particularly from international people, but you know, I'm not an expert in game reserves and whatever, but there are plenty of game reserves around Port Elizabeth. You can go to an affordable game reserve like Addo Elephant Park, which is very affordable, and you can go to like the most upmarket place and pay $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a night, and it's got everything in between. So it just really depends on how luxurious you want to be.
Yeah, if anyone wants to do some research on their travels and pop me through a message about what they're thinking, I'll let you know if you're crazy or not and if it's going to work. And I can also send through some recommendations if you would like to go on a safari or if you'd like to do something. I can just pop you through where's the closest place to do those things.
Cool. Okay, Shanika, have we got all the questions? So I can see there's lots of comments, but I just wanted to make sure we've got everything covered.
Yeah, those were like the main questions. I see Cynthia asked how close is Plet from Knysna? Scott?
Plet and Knysna, they're like 30 k's apart. So 30.
Yeah, it's close. Yeah.
Miriam's asked what's included in the World Packer. So Miriam, there's nothing included here. So there's only two ways. One is, you know, and again, it's an additional cost no matter what. The only people are the people who paid for the Wealth Accelerator. We included a wealth weekend in that. So, but just to be clear, not the personal development. That's a separate thing. Just the wealth weekend in terms of the process. It is a little bit piecemeal. And again, the personal development is something we only came up with in the last couple of months. And funny enough, I can see Anna's here. It was Anna and I talking in September last year, where it was like, look, like let's make this happen. And then Dave wasn't available and whatever. And that's why this year it was like, no, let's plan this properly. And for those that are keen, you know, then we got the ability to kill two birds with one stone.
I see that Hanu did ask if his partner must be with for like the relationship healing. Obviously, David isn't here anymore, but I don't know if you've got any insight on that, Scott.
Look, my assumption would be yes. Okay, so I think the best way to describe it would be if you're obviously doing couple stuff, then obviously it'd be much better if both people were there. I know from my own personal experience, I've done a lot of couple stuff, but where it was me sorting out my own shit. Like, sorry to be direct, but like, you know, in terms of that process. So I know certainly, like I can't explain to you how much value I've got about it. And I think if we evolve and grow as a human, like we're only going to improve the relationship full stop. But yeah, I think if you're wanting the relationship stuff, I assume you would have to have both people there. Okay. I think I'm just checking if we got everything. Miriam, I've answered your question. I know, yeah. So like I said to you, you can if you only want to come for the Sunday to the Tuesday, then you're welcome to join us for that. I think I've got everyone. Let's just see.
I think we've got everything.
Just checking. Sorry, there's lots of nice comments here that I'm also just reading. I'm trying to see if there's anything that I haven't. Horse riding on the beach. Okay, so I think look, let's wrap up. It's pretty much on the hour, so that's good timing anyway. So listen, thanks for everyone who's jumped online. If you've got questions, let us know. We do need to finalize numbers in the next sort of couple of weeks. So I don't want to give an exact deadline, but I'd say sort of by the middle of February, we need to know exactly what's going on for planning and all that sort of stuff, because Shanika hates lastminute.com. So
don't do it.
She hates it when Scott is like selling tickets 3 days before and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, the sooner we can kind of plan, the better. It also just allows us to properly get everyone organized, etc. From David's perspective, there isn't. So his resort can actually, I think it can sleep up to 35 to 50 people. So we should have no problem with numbers, and he's booked out the entire resort for us. So I'm super excited about the combination of putting the two together. And I think after 7 days, people are we're gonna blow your mind. Like I know it's so it's called Never Ending Story, Corbus. Yeah, but I actually don't even know if there's a website, to be honest. Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm looking now. I can just see the Facebook.
Yeah, well, I mean, I made the video with David on Saturday evening, and I got his wife to send me those pictures, just so I had pictures to be able to share with you all. How many people can do each? So again, Melissa, the venue in Knysna can actually hold up to 80 people. But the way we kind of do it in an the way we do it, it's kind of more intimate. It's kind of tends to be sort of 40 to 50. And then again, Dave's venue can hold sort of 40 to 50. So we should be fine on numbers. We don't really like to, it's not a quantity thing for us, it's a quality thing. So
yeah,
hopefully that helps. Okay. Yeah, and if there's anyone that specifically that's part of the mastermind and you've got a friend that you think could really benefit from it, please reach out to Shanika and let us know. Like-minded people for us is important. Obviously, if it's full, then not an option. But for us, it's I just, the thing that does piss me off every Wealth Weekend is that we're not sharing this information with more people. Garth tends to be on fire. If you enjoy his webinars and stuff, imagine spending 2.5 days with him. And they really come fully invested. Him and Anthony and Bianca and Karen are fully there. This is not one of those things where they come in and do one little presentation and piss off. They're around the dinner table, they're having a beer and a glass of wine and a cup of coffee, whatever you enjoy. So you really have, properly the time to connect and know the humans that you are entrusting your money with and your future and your legacy to some extent. Okay. I think that's everything, Shanika. Thank you for everyone who's turned up. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you there. Exciting 2026. And I leave you with one final comment. And that's the one that I'm going to say you're going to hate me by the end of this year. How are you going to 10x your life? We've got the presentation next Tuesday, which I'll go through in more detail. But I fundamentally believe things like this Wealth Weekend and this personal development are an investment in yourself. It's a gift to yourself, and it's how you will be able to create extraordinary in 2026 for yourself and years to come. And that for me is how you 10x your life. So that's what I've done. And now we're just sharing with others what you can do for yourself. Okay. Like everyone, have a wonderful time. Cheers. Thanks very much, Shanika, as well. I really appreciate all the effort you put in.
You're welcome. Night, everyone.
Night, everyone. Cheers.